learners, we're here with lesson 45 on classifying quadrilaterals. Remember that all quadrilaterals have four sides. Now we're going to talk about three different types of quadrilaterals, and these are all defined by the amount of parallel sides. So trapeziums have no parallel sides. Here are some examples. So if you notice this line and this line, they're not parallel. This one eventually would intersect with this because this one's going on an angle. And this is going up this way and this is going down this way, so those would eventually intersect too. This also doesn't have any parallel lines. It looks kind of like it's a kite. And this one also does not have any parallel sides. So any time you have 1, 2, 3, 4 sides, it's a quadrilateral, but if it doesn't have any parallel sides, it's called a trapezium. Now, trapezoids have only one pair of parallel sides. They have exactly one pair. And I showed parallel sides with these little arrows right here. So the two that have arrows mean that those sides are parallel. So this is the most common type of trapezoid. It has a parallel line here and here. And then these two are not. So it looks like that. This is the same figure flipped upside down. Over here, we have a different looking trapezoid. This actually has a right angle there, but this segment is longer than this segment. And here's the same type of figure flipped on its side. So notice that parallel segments must be different lengths when we're talking about trapezoids. This line segment is shorter than this one. So if I were to draw a trapezoid, I would want to start by drawing two parallel lines with one bigger than the other, and then I would connect them with line segments. Parallelograms are the third type of quadrilateral, and parallelograms have two pairs of parallel sides, not just one. And there are different types of parallelograms. So if a parallelogram has four congruent angles, they would all have to be 90 degrees. And if it does have that, then we call it a rectangle. A rhombus, on the other hand, doesn't need to have four congruent angles, but it does have four congruent sides. That means that the side lengths are the same. And a square is a really specialized parallelogram because the square has both four congruent angles, so it's also a rectangle, and it has four congruent sides, so it's also a rhombus. So let's look at these pictures and see if we can figure out which shape they are. So what about this one? Remember that when there's these little tick marks, it shows that they're the same, they're all congruent to each other. So this shape has four congruent sides. Good, so it's a rhombus. What about this figure? Does this have four congruent sides? No, but it does have four congruent angles, so we call that a rectangle. What about this one? Does this have four congruent sides? Yeah. Does it have four congruent angles? Nope, so this one is called a rhombus. What about this one? Does this have four congruent sides? Yep, so it's a rhombus. Does it have four congruent angles? Yep, so it's a rectangle. And since it has both, its most specialized answer would be that it's a square. Although this is also considered a rhombus, a rectangle, and a parallelogram, and a quadrilateral. Because remember that all of these, since they have two parallel sides, are considered parallelograms, and since they have four sides, are considered quadrilaterals also. So the best way that you can learn these is just to practice them. And in order to make that easy for you, I had created this Quizlet. So if you come back into Schoology and you click on the geometry vocab practice, all of the words, you have to click the title again to open it up. All of the words that you are expected to know that you have learned so far are in this, and so you can review them. And remember, up top, there's all different ways to review them. You can use flashcards, you can practice, you can take a test, you can play the games, the matching game or the gravity game. I really hope that you will do that and you will take advantage of these tools so that way when you come into school tomorrow, you are ready to show me what you know. Go ahead and get to work.